I had this pebble in my shoe of grocery as we know it, which has brought myriad advantages to us in terms of choice, in terms of low prices. It's not helping these kind of key metrics of health and wellness get better, whether that's just accessing fresh, healthy food. These are the building blocks of life. I think we all have a right to that access. But it's also not helping the health of us in general, kind of our macro health as a population, and how that impacts our personal health and wellness, our spiritual health and wellness, and who we are as people. If grocery as we know it, in spite of all of its advantages, is not solving these problems of health and access, then what can we do? And any idea that survives multiple long runs deserves some chasing after. I joined HEB right out of graduate school. It was my inaugural foray into the world of food and of grocery retail, certainly as a professional. But I'd grown up around food my entire life. My great-grandparents and my grandparents were restaurateurs in Austin. So we always had the idea of food and food as a business in our family. And I spent about 8 years at HEB, and I had a lot of projects, but really the main through-line project I had was around understanding how SNAP, which is a food stamp program, how SNAP shoppers shopped our store, and how do we make a more accommodating experience for families that are on food assistance. And we would hear week in and week out from families that were saying, we love this fresh food, it's just hard for us to get. And so what I saw through that was that demand exists. Demand exists irrespective of zip code. Demand exists irrespective of socioeconomic status. So what I wanted to do was basically create the non-grocery store grocery store. We wanted to take the idea of traditional grocery as we know it, 80,000 feet, and shrink it down to about 800 feet. We wanted to take 60,000 items, and we've got about 600 items. We're very embedded in the community. That means both geographically, where we're physically next to our neighbors. We look to have about a half mile to a mile catchment radius, but we're also really collaborating with community-based organizations, whether that's organizations that are focused on housing, whether that's organizations that are focused on health, and all points in between. Because what we found when we talk to our customers is that when you live in a food insecure household, you're not just food insecure. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. There are many other needs not being met. One of the interesting things I've learned is that along the way, what we want to do, of course, is sell good, healthy food. We want to sell groceries where it's challenged to get groceries. But we also want to engage the community in ways that are fundamentally non-revenue producing. And these would be our more mission-forward parts of our business. But really the daily success, what motivates me and our team to keep going are these conversations we're having with our customers each and every day. These are customers that you see coming in for soda and Fritos, and over time, look, I'm not suggesting that people are gonna swap their carrots out or their Cheetos out for carrots immediately, but by unlocking our doors every day and by being a known trusted face, we are able to have a conversation that we want to have about food equity, and about access in a manner that is changing behaviors, right? Something that was really surprising is just how much people want to talk. Most of our customers will linger, and that's what we're there for. Something we have at the store is we have a couple tables set out front with a few chairs. We have the newspaper, and we have a pretty active sidewalk. And so what we have are these kind of front stoop moments where, the store is small, we can get it swept up and restocked pretty quickly. And so a lot of times we'll just sit out front and we'll talk with passersby. Some are familiar faces and some are new. But it's remarkable when we're out there engaging with passersby, you are able to sense community. Individuals slow down, individuals take notice. And what that brings in is a diversity of customer that, if replicated, I think really has the capacity to change the way we all move through the world. I'm not trying to be naive about this and that we're developing lifelong friendships, but I also think there's something magical that happens when two individuals leading fundamentally different lives are engaging the exact same activity and having the exact exchange of commerce in a manner that is equitable, right? This is not prescribed. There are no talking points with this. It just happens. And it happens in a very small sense in our small store, but it can be replicated. I've never worked harder in my life in terms of hours both at the store and hours thinking about something professionally, but I can also say that I've never had more fun and I've never been more engaged. And I think that if I were to put a term to it, I would say that my personal life and my professional life for the first time in a while are in harmony. I'm able to really think through how do my actions and how do my values that I try to have at home as a father, as a husband, as a friend, as a member of this community, as a parishioner at St. John the Divine, how do those transfer to how I am at work? And I don't know if it's worth saying this, but like the headaches are worse. The money is less. Nothing is superficially better, right? But spiritually, right? And I think, and I would use that word whether I'm sitting in this building or not, spiritually, it is a better experience and a more congruent experience between certain factions of my life. And where are any of us in any part of our lives, right? Whether that's the restaurants we go to, our houses of worship, our places of work, where else are we engaging with someone else who is living a fundamentally different life? Question mark, right?